What's up, guys? Happy Friday. We got another guest today for our Rich Soil podcast. Today, it's going to be super exciting for me, not just because I'm a fan of hers, but just because I'm a huge fan of seeing athletes really talk about their support with plant medicine. And she happens to be one of them. So, welcome, Alex. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I know you're out, what, Georgia? Atlanta?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Atlanta. Yep.
How's it going? How's it looking for you out there? What are you guys, recreational or medicinal when it comes to?
We're actually just only decriminalized in Atlanta. So everything as far as THC is pretty much illegal, but
That's right.
outside of Atlanta. But I feel like it's pretty like otherwise it's like very lenient around around the city.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're definitely seeing more like a lot of vape stores, a lot of CBD stores
Oh,
around.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
mhm.
And yeah, my girl, originally from Atlanta, moved out here for a little bit and is back out here. But when she was out there, it's hard for her to get like actual flour. And I feel your guys' pain only being able to get
Oh man,
cartridges,
yeah,
vapes.
it's a so it could be sometimes a struggle, but thankfully been able to be connected with the right people and stuff and tournaments and sponsors. So
Yeah.
we get to stay taken care of.
Yeah, yeah, I love that about you. Okay, so just so you guys have a little bit of introduction, Alex is and I'm just going to do a brief touch, and then you can go into exactly all your titles because you got a lot going on. I respect you tremendously. You are a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You're also known as a world champ in grappling or wrestling, I believe.
Yeah, I guess so, especially now
Yeah,
recently.
yeah. Go ahead and tell us a little bit of your background, maybe a little bit of where you came from. Have you ever lived in California or always been Atlanta?
I've always been in Atlanta.
Okay,
Just
okay.
visit a lot for tournaments and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
where I saw her at Subversive. I've got to
yeah,
meet the guys from some of the guys from that team that puts that together, and they do a great job with highlighting you athletes and kind of incorporating the cannabis brands now into their activation. So, yeah, tell us about your experience in jujitsu and how you became with such a heavy background in mixed martial arts.
yeah. So I've been doing jiu-jitsu now, I think, for almost 13, 14 years. I started when I was 11, and I'm 24 now. I always did it full time, and then when I got to high school, I wrestled. In high school, I did all 4 years. I wrestled on the boys team, and that was probably one of like the roughest experiences. But it was I think ultimately really good for my jujitsu.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of delayed gratification there. Like taking the time to go to wrestling and then trying to go back and forth between the two different rule sets was like a big mental challenge. Is like flipping off different switches to try to figure out what rule set. So it was definitely a challenge growing up. And then I wrestled 2 seasons in college. Um, and then whenever I wasn't doing wrestling, I was doing jujitsu full time. So it's kind of just been back and forth with that for 14 years.
Oh, wow. What had you drawn to that? You said you started at 11. Was there like a family member or did you just grow up around
Yeah.
it?
So my older brother, my family actually immigrated to the States when I was around 5, like first grade.
Okay.
And my older brother, he's my half brother actually, same mom, different dad. He's 11 years older than me, and he was always like wanting to fight growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he got to the States, he like found a MMA gym, and then I like never got into it. It was like his thing. And then by the summer of like sixth grade, my parents were just like trying to get me to do some after school activity. So I wouldn't just be like home all day watching TV or something. So he took me to his gym, which was like Knuckle Up Fitness in Alpharetta, Georgia at the time. And ever since like that first day, I was like, oh man, I really like this. So I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like first day, I learned how to do like a cross lapel choke, in the gi, and I was like, oh my god, this is so badass. You get to choke people. And so it was pretty wild for me, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. All my friends think it's super cool. so
Yeah,
so
that's
so it
legit.
kind of stuck. Yeah.
And you guys migrated from,
Philippines, from Manila, from the
okay,
city.
how
Yeah.
old were you when you came to the States?
Five.
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 Wow.
So about
Okay.
like first, yeah, I came here and then I started first grade. So did some kindergarten, pre-K stuff in the Philippines, but yeah.
Yeah, and they have like more of a rapid school tradition, to my understanding. You can get through school a lot faster than here. My dad always jokes,
Yeah.
I don't know if people know here in my audience, but I am half Filipino. My parents, or my dad, comes from Manila as well.
Ooh.
And yeah, they used to joke about being an attorney or a doctor through the Philippines school
Yeah.
system. It's like a lot quicker than in the States, it's like double the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think a lot of things have changed there. I went there when I was about 4. I don't remember much of it. Have you been back since?
Actually, this year, earlier this year in February, it was
Okay.
my first time back after, all those years, like being a child. And I mean, I'm only slightly older now, but it was cool getting to experience it as like someone who could actually comprehend what is going on.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So,
crazy how it's developed to my understanding. It looks very, there's a lot of, it's a city vibe now. There's like
yeah.
malls. I guess the malls are better than here. It's just crazy how they've developed. But tell me a little bit about what you did out there. To my understanding, you guys did some sort of tour and you did some private. I saw that. Tap into that. That must have been really exciting for you going back to, your home country and being able to serve the people with everything that you've done and in your journey with them. I'm sure they were up, applaud to meet you.
Yeah, super. It was really cool. So the way I'm over at Atos Atlanta right now, so under Bruno Frazzato, he's an Atos affiliate. So I reached out to apparently there's a lot of Atos affiliates in the Philippines. So if you guys and there's actually a lot of jiu-jitsu in the Philippines in general too, which was to my surprise, and everybody, the jiu-jitsu there was great, which was really cool to see. But I was able to get in touch with their headquarters over there. I actually am friends with one of the owners of HQ in the Philippines, Maggie Ochoa. She's a roosterweight black belt, very big competitor. And she's awesome. And I reached out to her, and she was like, "Hey, why don't we do a tour? I'll reach out to our affiliations from different parts of the islands." And I was like, "That would be amazing!" Like, as much as I love like staying in the city, when we go out of town, out of the country, I definitely want to experience like the culture and getting to be back after more than a decade, almost 2 decades. It was really nice to be so welcomed by all these people. And it's like, the Filipino bond, I feel like is very strong with everyone, even strangers. I feel like that's how you also reached out. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're Filipino too. So I mean, everybody, the culture and the people are just so caring and loving. So I had a blast. I was able to teach at so many places, and they treated me so well. And for tourists, it's like a super easy place to visit because everyone speaks English.
Yep, for sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I always tell people, I was like, oh, if you want to go to Asia, you should definitely go to the Philippines. Like, you won't have a lot of trouble getting around there, you know.
And there's bomb food, so there's no.
Exactly, yeah.
So
Can't
actually
forget that.
talking about food, with you being an athlete, as far as, being a trainer and instructor, doing all these workshops and actually competing, I think you and your wife recently went to London, or was that here when you guys did a world grappling competition?
So that World Grappling Championships by United World Wrestling was for something I just learned about like earlier this or this past year, thanks to Paul Ardea. He's an ADCC vet, and he's been doing these. He's been representing Team USA for the past like 2 years. on this doing the World Grappling Championships. And I was like, hey man, what's that? Like last year he was in Pontevedra, Spain doing it. And
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, like, how come you're getting to represent Team USA? What's that all about? And then he told me about Team USA grappling. And so and this year they're having way more qualifiers, even for also gi. Last time they only had qualifiers for no gi. But now they're going to have qualifiers for both gi and no gi. So they'll take two teams, a gi and no gi team. And you win qualifiers, then you get to go to trials. And if there's also some people that can automatically qualify for trials depending on your accolades, like if you were already a brown or black belt world champ
Yeah. Yeah.
in IBJJF or something local or in the States. So you win the trials, you get a free trip, mostly free trip to go with Team USA to go compete at wherever Worlds is this year or that year. So it was really cool. We were able to win. Faye and I were both able to. Well, I was able to win my division for trials. She got second place. So, but the great thing is that you can take the top two. You can take two representatives per weight class. And so what happened is she got second at the trials. The girl that beat her at the trials ended up getting injured and not going at all, actually. So there was only one USA representative at her weight class. And fortunately, like we flew out. It was in Warsaw, Poland this past August, right? August, this past month, like maybe 2 weeks ago. And we were both like able to win it, and it was awesome. We had 4 matches each. I thought the finals were gonna be like one match at a time, but they put us all on the 3 match. And so I got to compete my finals match the same time hers was, and we got to win at the same time. And it was like
Oh, that's
a
dope.
scene out of a movie. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this can't be real. Like it was probably
Super dope.
like hands down, like the experience itself was amazing. Getting to be around so many different people, like, and you could tell like they have their countries represented on their back.
Yeah.
And like this warm up room was this tiny warm up room, and there was probably about like 150 grapplers like in there, just like stepping over each other, and it was like every single time you were just hearing a different language. It was wild, but it was awesome. It was such a unique experience,
Yeah.
and then to be able to win that with Faye was even better.
Yeah.
So
Trip well worth it,
yeah.
that's for sure. Exciting. Did you guys meet practicing in jiu-jitsu, or how did you meet your wife?
So yes, we did meet. Actually when I was 15, we're 5 years apart. I'm 15. Oh, I was 15 at the time and she was 20, 21. And we were just friends. We became friends through jiu-jitsu, and it wasn't until it's so funny. I tell everybody the story and they laugh. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you always have to start with that." And I was like, "What? It's true." Like,
Yeah.
so we ended up being best friends, and then like I always tell people like she waited until I was old enough, like 18 or something, and then the friendship turned into a relationship. So it's cool, and then it kind of works out like she supports me, and I support her through like we have the same goals. So it's awesome. And it is difficult too as well. I think for every like other jiu-jitsu couple that you'll talk to, you could ask them and they all say the same thing. They could be the nicest people, and they're like, it's so hard to drill or train with your spouse in and like trying to beat each other up. It just like never works out. So
Yeah.
we
I
we do, yeah, it definitely we butt heads a lot, but we make it work because we're like each other's main training partners as well. So we make it work.
Yeah, I see
And
you guys train together. That's, that keeps to me, that's exciting. And I think it keeps the bond together initially. Cause for me, I love working out with my husband and going in and having that time. It's just something that it's therapeutic for me, and it just builds our bond all the time, and it makes it stronger. So I know it's not some people's jam, but I admire it. So I saw you guys training. Is that your guys' garage? You guys have a home gym?
No, right now we're at an apartment. We do train with at our strength and conditioning
Okay.
trainer's house, and that's the garage, Mo's garage.
Yeah.
And she's been in our lives forever too. She was actually at the same gym we were at before we came to Atos a long time ago, and we've always looked up to her. She's kind of, I call her the trifecta of martial arts. She's a jiu-jitsu black belt. She's a Muay Thai world champ, and like she does, like she's got her she's a CrossFit level 2 instructor. She's got a bunch of certifications. She's like certified for birth fit, everything. Like she's like who we go to for like everything, even like couples counseling basically or something,
That's a good
you
friend to
know.
have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love that.
exactly. I was like, she's definitely gonna be our like maid of honor in our wedding or something. I
Yeah,
feel like
for
she
sure.
can do it all.
Yeah, no, she knows how to take care of you guys for sure. No. So what does your training look like? I mean, is it primarily CrossFit when it comes to weightlifting and then the rest is all mat work?
So that's been like for the most part we train jiu-jitsu pretty much 2 times a day, like actual training instead of teaching classes. Um,
Oh.
so without teaching classes, we train maybe 2 times a day, or usually on the days that we have strength and conditioning, which are usually 2 to 3 times a week, typically Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday and or Sunday.
Yeah.
So on those days, like for example, Monday, we usually have competition trainings. We have all early trainings now. It's like 6 to 9 a.m. It's a 3 hour practice. And then we'll go home, have breakfast, have a break, maybe take a little nap, and then go to lifts and conditioning at 12 o'clock. And then Mo kind of does everything for us. She programs all our stuff, whether we're looking to, for our next competition, we have to gain weight. Our next competition, we have to cut weight. Everything's kind of tailored to that so that it helps us reach our goals, but also maintain strength levels as well as, and the weight goals as well, So like if we're trying to gain weight, it's gonna be heavy load, low reps. Or if we're trying to lose weight, it's gonna be, or sorry, the other way around. Or if we're trying to gain weight, it's um might be less heavy, but like a ton of quantity of reps and stuff, and then vice versa for losing. But I love that, like it's so much easier to have a strength trainer to go to like every time for the strength and conditioning, because she's with you like every step, and she could see you during lifts. So I always feel safe when we do mostly powerlifting.
Yeah.
We do some Olympic lifting sometimes, but that's like on down months where we're not really having a lot of big competitions, or a competition that month where we could practice and work on a new skill set. And that's something I've always loved. I learned to love working out, because I feel like it's almost like a mental break from jujitsu. It's like a learning a whole new sport, a whole new thing.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm not always jujitsu 24/7. When I get to go lift, it's like, okay, I'm trying to learn something new, and it's fun, and my body is reaping the benefits of doing the working out.
Yeah, no, I gotta have my weightlifting session. I try to do, right now I'm doing a 75 hard program. So
Oh yes, 75
yeah,
hard.
so this is my third attempt,
Nice.
2023, and I'm hoping, my birthday's at the end of the month, so I decided to start it back up, and I'm hoping I finish that. But weight training has been huge. It's super therapeutic for me. It's like you
Mm,
said,
I
can
love it.
turn off that part of your mind that's constantly on one thing that you're focused on consistently, and for that hour 2 hours you're just focused on that part, which I think all of us can use. So no, I think that's dope. I saw you guys doing that type of training, so I was just curious. Does your strength training or trainer put your like nutrition together too, since you guys fluctuate with weight, and does that also mean you do different weight classes?
So we actually have it's funny, our nutritionist is very close friends with our strength trainer, Mo. Our nutritionist is Gretchen Brokart, and she's actually worked and known Mo for a very long time as well. They've been in CrossFit gyms together and whatnot. Gretchen also does Jiu Jitsu as well. She just welcomed recently a new baby girl to her family. So she's kind of just been having mom life recently. So and trying to figure out like her and her husband own a CrossFit gym as well.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool that like it's easy. Like we'll have meetings together with everybody, like strength training, conditioning coach, and nutritionist, and sometimes even our jujitsu coach. And I think it's just awesome. We were so lucky. I feel like and grateful to be able to have that amount of support
Yep.
to make everything else easy. You know, it's like I don't have to figure out how to lift weights by myself.
Yep.
I just show up and
Yep.
I'm told
Put in the work.
what to do. Yeah, and I just put in the work. So
Sure.
it's so much easier that way, I feel. But we were fortunate enough to be able to have those people and met such great people that are so caring that make it all possible because the half of it's like a little bit of a sponsorship situation so that it makes it possible as athletes because I mean it's just really hard I feel like as a jiu-jitsu athlete to be able to I tell that to other jiu-jitsu athletes and they're like, oh man, I wish I could afford having a strength training coach and conditioning and a nutritionist. And I was like, yeah, it's really difficult, right? But we
Sure.
just got we just got blessed with the people that have been in our lives deciding to support us, because they care about us. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think they see your passion and you guys are equally 100 in, more than 100% in it. And so I think it makes it easy for people to support people like you. And see the grand vision as one as a team. So I think that's dope. And yeah, it's not easy to have a team so built out to where it's a specific niche that they're working for you. So that's dope, and I think it makes you well-rounded and makes probably you guys a better athlete. So big ups to you guys. You guys are doing big things, and I'm excited to have you just watch you grow. Hopefully I can come back out to a tournament and watch you compete. You do some crazy shit. I did mixed martial arts like young, and so to see you or to be in that environment was really nice because I'm sure it's like super exciting and your adrenaline is up when you're in the world of like in your competition tournaments of everybody being in there and just you guys equally know you've been putting in the work and it's fucking showtime and it's ready to rock. And yeah, no, I think that's exciting. Do you have any specific events coming up?
So phase cutting weight right now for the end of the month for IBJJF Nogi Pants. It'll be she's gonna be trying to get that title. So for Nogi Pants, and then we'll both be doing the East Coast ADCC East Coast trials October 14th or 15th and 16th. Yeah, 14th or 15th, whatever that weekend.
Yeah,
but yeah, exactly. But that's like the big change that why we're doing we're really toning down this month on our weight because this is gonna be the new weight class 55 kilograms, which is 121.2 pounds or something. And I haven't been that since like sophomore year of high school or something.
What are you? If
I walk around like 132, I'm like I'm still small for like how tall I am. I walk around pretty small. I'm just like naturally lean. I'm like the endomorph type or ectomorph body type, like just naturally like
pizza, no problem.
Exactly.
For sure.
So it's so hard to make my calves grow. I'm like, oh, like it has small legs.
You're Filipino. Every Filipino has fucking big calves.
Yeah, I know, right? My dad and my brother, and it's like the boys in the family, and then my mom and I had like twigs for legs. Yeah, but I have quads, so it's just like it kind of looks uneven, and I'm like, oh, like it doesn't look right.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Wear the high socks. They always say wear the high socks.
Exactly. It's that, or just I'm wearing pants or jeans or whatever that covers my calves.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, no, that's great. I love the training and how you guys do represent yourselves. That's all Atlanta?
Nogi Pans, I think, is gonna be Texas. ADCC East Coast Trials will be in New Jersey, Atlantic City.
Oh, okay.
Um, so that would be fun. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was talking to Subversive not too long ago after the most recent combat jiu-jitsu event. They're doing more combat events now,
Yes.
which is super fun. They were able to get it sanctioned in the States, so props to them. That's they're bringing a whole nother type of like jujitsu to the people to
They're very
uh
dedicated to that.
exactly. So I'm excited, and they were talking about probably early November or so. So I gotta keep my eye out on that. It's always super fun working with them. I've met some great people and great sponsors through the help of Subversive. So
Dope.
very very grateful for them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a great team of guys. So before we let you go, we do have a rapid fire, but I do want to touch on you being a sponsor for several different cannabis brands and some mushroom edibles that I think that one was interesting because it seemed like it was like a pre-workout or something that gave you the energy boost. So yeah, tell me how does cannabis play in your life or in your guys' life as far as for recovery, and do you guys find plant medicine being something that more athletes are going towards more than, like pharmaceuticals or opioids or, even alcohol and shit like that?
Oh, 100%. Especially in the jiu-jitsu community, I think it's kind of well known to be like a stoner community.
Yeah.
But I
The
feel
logo.
like, yeah, exactly. But I feel like the when you do it, like when you're that dedicated to a sport and you see the benefits of, of of weed and CBD, it's almost like a no-brainer for someone that wants to try. So actually at this past Subversive, I was able to meet a great group of these three guys, Aaron, Wes, and Sean from Soulful B CBD. And we had a great time. We chatted it up at the tournament. They let me try some of their products, including daytime and nighttime tinctures. They have the same kind of things that they do with their tinctures in a gummy form, as well as those Rush Endurance energy shots, which had a little bit of actually like CBD and lion's mane, a little bit of mushrooms. And
Yeah.
as well at that tournament, I also met this group known as Level Mushrooms or Level MD, and they're like a research and development brand and for microdosing. And so I'm starting to learn a little bit more about microdosing and the benefits that has, and like having that two together honestly has helped me so much in terms of like my energy, my mood, my recovery, like the inflammation. Like before, I would usually use weed. I'd smoke weed at night to, especially after training, to
Mhm.
end up like having a better quality of sleep, or if like my body was super sore. And also the fact that like it, because Faye and I are both like naturally very small people, we and like the amount we train, a lot of times we are not getting enough calories for how much we're expending. So that was like helping us like with our hunger and stuff, so that making sure we get enough calories in our body. So, and I feel like it's this is the better way. You don't have negative side effects from plant medicine, so that you can keep training. I've never had an issue with my cardio, or my cardio being affected, or anything that has been a negative to my jujitsu. Um, when I'm using it at appropriate times and stuff, I'm making sure it's not getting in the way of my training, of
Yep.
course. But yeah, and especially with Soulful BCBD, they're like a I've had I really want to say like I've had a bunch of opportunities to work with or even try a lot of different CBD products, and
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of Soulful B. Because of their certain ingredients they leave out, like they don't use any delta 9, delta 8. They try to keep things very clean, and I feel the difference like almost immediately. I've had other CBD companies and I would use them like how they were instructed, like daily use to get the best results out of like tinctures and stuff. And it was nice, but I didn't feel like a big change. But honestly, after like even 4 or 5 days of using Soulful B, right away, like I noticed so many benefits. And at the time and I've also been on my period cycle when I've been using it, and it's become a little bit more regular. The symptoms that I've had in like PMS symptoms have been a lot more manageable, and like my mood, my energy levels have been so much better. My quality of sleep too, with those nighttime gummies that I've used, like I take one, and it's not something that will knock you out. Like I could feel like my brain kind of starting to, it's starting to slow down and like go into like, okay, it's time to rest, and it relaxes. And then I wake up, I feel super energized. You don't have like that kind of grogginess when you
I
wake
will.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you broke that down so well. It's obvious that you are enjoying it and you're very aware of what your body likes and doesn't like and what works and doesn't work. So I think that's huge and important when you're tapping into plant medicine. And a lot of people are definitely open now to the microdosing of, the
Yeah.
mushrooms, and they're seeing different benefits in the strains that don't have all the psychoactive components, which is
hmm
super dope. And I think that's what they're probably putting into this. Is there a particular type that you like preferable, like edibles, or do you like tinctures more? Do you do topicals, or do you just do it all?
I kind of dabble in it all, I'd say. Usually, if I'm trying to get the most out of something, I think the tinctures have been like been the one that I get most benefits out of. But
Ever tried capsules?
Oh, I have for the I've had capsules for the microdosing for levels, and I love it all. And levels actually has capsules, they have gummies, they have chocolate bars. So they kind of have a bunch of different forms, and it's awesome because I've dabbled in psychedelics mushrooms before, microdosing with them, and it's really hard to get a very consistent dosage on them. And I feel like levels kind of like did all the science part for you. And it's so consistent, and I feel like it's very clean. And yeah, it's I feel like it's just such a quality brand,
Yeah, even their packaging was dope. Everything.
exactly. So it's like, they're doing everything on the correct, I feel like. So if someone was interested in trying out microdosing or wanting to learn more about the benefits of that, like definitely go to their page,
Yeah, we'll put
learn.
the links in.
Feel free to message them, and they're really nice people, very friendly. So,
Cool.
um, yeah,
Put them in the description and link them to where they can find that was level mushroom, sulfo
correct.
BCBD,
Yes.
um, and I think that was it. I did see that you did like a freeze or a roll on. How do you feel about those? Do you think those work like as far as topicals?
So with
You have a favorite
I
one?
used to have that with our my old a CBD company, Fight Back. They're also really great. They're based out of Texas. This couple from Texas, and they're super nice people. I did really like their freeze roll on. A lot of what I see with people when CBD companies, they use a freeze roll on, they have also the menthol, already in it.
Yeah.
So you do get that cold sensation, which is I feel like it's almost like you could, if it feels like it's working, it's almost like a little bit also like you got to believe
I
it,
see
kind
hot.
of like placebo. Yeah, I see hot, put slap some tiger bomb shit out there,
Yeah.
but but yeah, I know Soulful B right now has this, I actually have it right here. It's this topical cream that's like, they have it in a pump action bottle. And that's just for more like specific areas, but I know they're coming out with a lot of stuff, and especially specific for athletes in the next 6 months or so. So I'd say be aware for that. Faye is also a licensed massage therapist, so they're having her test out like some oils that they might be coming out for specifically for massage therapy and stuff. So I'm excited. to see if how she likes it and if she prefers it for, for her clients and whatnot.
Yeah. Lucky you.
I know exactly. I was like, no, that's why when I realized
I
she
could
finished
try it.
massage school, I was like, okay, I gotta keep you around for sure. I was like, this is gonna help me more. I was like, who really trapped who?
Right, right. No, for sure. No, I think it's important when it comes to recovery that you do the whole rice. If anybody knows what that is, like the whole recovery. Recovery is so fucking boring, but it's like
Yeah.
so crucial to your
Oh,
performance. And I know it's like stretching. Like I don't want to stretch, before
oh,
shit.
exactly. Oh yeah, I used to be so bad with stretching, and Faye got onto me so much because I feel so much better. And growing up, like when I was doing jujitsu, as when I started as a kid, I didn't have to do any recovery. I was a kid, so like I would just like literally have the hardest practices in my life, and
Age
then
doesn't know.
yeah, go eat and then wake up feeling great the next day. And now I'm like dying after like a 1 hour session or something. And so I learned definitely the hard way. I've had surgeries from overtraining and stuff to where like I experience like really severe injuries, like acute injuries from not stretching, like from having super tight hamstrings or having imbalances in my body
Mhm.
from
Ooh,
so that's all like it's been like I went through I might be young, but I've gone through those injuries, those surgeries, and now I feel like and even my school, my degree in college was for exercise science.
oh,
And
nice.
so I feel like it all just kind of compounded on helping me become a better athlete. And that really came with, like you said, like being knowing your body and active recovery and resting, like knowing that like as much as you train hard, like rest is if not equally or more important than
We
than
can't all
all
be
the
Kobe.
exactly
Can't all
exactly
be Kobe as long as we're trying. That's for
yeah, exactly. You're trying, and you could if you balance it
sure.
out well, you might feel like them.
Yeah, for sure. That's 100. Well, I thank you for sharing all of that. And again, we'll make sure that we put the links here and anything that we have as far as links to support you, we'll make sure that we have that. But before we go, we're going to do the rapid fire, and it's just 7 grams of, there's 7 questions, basically. I just call them 7 grams because, it's a weed show. Um, but it's just around, who you are, and that'll be pretty much it for today.
Sick.
So, all right, we're gonna start with what's your favorite way to consume cannabis?
Smoking.
Oh, nice. Okay. Do you ever do concentrates?
I have before. I've dabbled in dabs and stuff like that.
You have a favorite brand right now for herb?
For herb, man,
You're in
I
even though you're
this
in
is the hard
Arizona.
part is like when you don't live in a state where it's like legal. Yeah, I don't get to like go to the dispensary all the time and be like, oh yeah, I love this one or I love that one more. But I mean, the last time actually we were on Subversive, the brand like the team that sponsored us was Insane OG by Dr. Green Thumbs. That Insane brand was really great. I feel like they had some really great strains through their line, and getting to talk to Kenji himself, one of the growers, was like super dope. He's so dedicated in his craft and like making sure he's producing, like keeping it traditional and producing stuff the right way. So I'm a big fan of that brand for sure.
Nice, nice. Yeah, they got some good athletes that they sponsor as well that I see them highlighting. So that's really cool. I mean, I love seeing everybody that's in the fitness world and that are athletes in the sports industry just talk a little bit about I rather do this right now because, everything else is I think that like, everybody did at some point. It's just not talked about because it has so much stigma tied to it, especially,
Oh yeah, sure.
NFL and all the other sports industry. But I think, like you said, MMA, Jiu Jitsu, it's always been around for the
Yeah,
most.
we're in a it's a different little niche and community where, yeah.
And I love that about you guys. I always joke, "Oh, I want to try jujitsu. If there's something that I go back to and try, now that I'm a mom, I'm like, maybe if my kids go to the same dojo, then I can do, the same
Yeah, exactly.
like the introduction session type of class. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do number two. What's your favorite way to work out?
My favorite way to work out, I'd say other than jujitsu, is I actually really enjoy CrossFit. In terms of like everyone has a really like bad like when they hear CrossFit, they're like, oh my God, CrossFit's so bad for you and stuff. Like CrossFit doesn't have to be like CrossFit Games level workouts all the time, like it's just like jumping into jujitsu. You're not gonna jump into, or like you're doing your first competition. You're not gonna jump into the advanced level, division right away.
Right.
So it could be really fun. And I feel like it kind of can make my brain turn off and just go do the workout. And I feel like the benefits I get from afterwards, like especially if I'm really stressed, I go work out, feel a lot better. There's just so many health benefits and stuff that like when you go work out and like any kind of workout, it's so much more beneficial for you in terms of stress and stuff. And I feel like lifting stuff and like being able to lift heavy stuff, you kind of feel prideful about it.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I did that. Like,
Yeah, it's a good sense of energy for sure. I think that's what I enjoyed most when I competed. Just learning the different levels and just understanding your body. But I think, for CrossFit, it's you're always getting full body workout. Like I feel like no
yeah.
matter what technique you're working on, or maybe like an isolated workout, you guys still happen to be like doing a lot of compound movements, which is super
Mhm.
I think beneficial as an athlete. So cool. Thank you for answering that. Number three is, if you could be an animal today, which animal would it be?
Oh my gosh. You know what? The other day, I feel like I was just watching on Netflix 72 Cutest Animals. And like, and I was like, oh, some of the animals, I'm like, oh man, like that doesn't look uh super cute, or that one does. And I know I'm kind of like not answering your question.
Like,
I
what's your
think
favorite animal?
yeah, my favorite, the cutest animal on there, I feel like was a sea otter. I think otters are so cute. They're like, they're like kind of puppies of the ocean. And if I could be an animal, honestly, I'd probably be a dog, like a dog that lives the best life, a shitty life. I was like, everyone wants to be something cool and stuff. I'd probably pick something that could fly if I had to be like a wild animal. But
Yeah.
honestly, I'd be like a domesticated like Chihuahua or something. Or
Golden
yeah,
Pug.
something that just like doesn't like a lap dog, a
Yeah,
purse dog.
for
It doesn't
sure.
have to be crap. Yeah,
For sure. Yeah. Actually, a lot of people say they're their dog or a dog. So you're not the only
exactly.
one that said that.
Living the best life.
Um, I did have just a bull rider, a professional bull rider on
Oh,
last week, and he said
really?
a bull, and he said that they live like kings. So I was like, oh, I didn't know that, but
Man, I guess the more you
yeah,
learn.
that's a spirit, I'm sure. Um, if we were to look at your iPad or your phone, what's the last song that you listened to? And I'm
Oh, my last song. I'll
make
pull it
people
up.
play
Or
it.
let's see. It was actually, you know what? Miley Cyrus came out with a new song, "Used to Be Young." I'm
Okay.
actually a big Miley fan,
Like, are
so
you a Miley fan? I'd be putting people on blast. I'd be like,
do you like
yeah.
Hannah Montana? And I'm like, no, I like
Got a
Miley
great
Cyrus. I
voice.
feel like,
She's got a
yeah,
great voice. That one
I
guy's
I 100%
fucking
agree. I was
amazing.
like, she has one of the most unique voices, and I actually
That
love
one.
her live album more than anything. I would love to go to one of her concerts. I haven't been to one, but I feel like her live is so good, and I just can't help but appreciate people who would like great voices. Um, I I really liked actually when she did the her Dolly Parton cover and stuff. I want to see her do a little bit more like country rock. I think her last Plastic Hearts album really captured her voice too with kind of rock, and
Yeah.
it would be cool to see her do more country rock because she absolutely kills that genre.
Yeah, for sure. Do you like country? It's rare. I see people like I love country. So it's
I'm from the South. Yeah.
oh yeah, that makes fucking sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
I
love
actually like
country.
that's one of the first things like I meet new jujitsu people like when I travel out of state or like I'm on like the West Coast, the East Coast, like I'm in New York and I'm like before I put on the radio, I was like, do you like country? Like
Yeah,
before
yeah. It's like
I just started
question.
blasting.
Legitimate.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's so relaxing to me. I feel like it's nothing. It's like after you train so hard, sometimes I just want to relax, and country music has that like vibe where it's just it's chill, you know.
Yep, yep, for sure. All right. What's the title of the last book you've read?
Last book I've read, actually, you caught me there. I'm not the biggest reader, which
That's
I
cool.
want to be. And the thing is, I want to be, but I feel like you could actually answer my question on this. Like, I get really, I feel like I've met a lot of Filipinos or Asian people that get really bad motion sickness very easily.
Yeah.
So like the times I get to like a long enough time to like or like to myself where I was like, okay, I want to read and stuff because if I'm at home, I'm like sleeping, stretching, taking
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure
And
you do
so
that
like
in your
and
show.
and honestly, it's not an excuse. I should be better about reading. I feel like books are knowledge, but and that knowledge is power. But like if I'm on a plane, if I'm in a car, I get so like if I just look
Yeah, no,
at
I
my
can't read in the car.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I can't read in the
Have
car.
to.
If I look at the phone in in the car, I'll get motion sick. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And
no,
so
I'm kind of the same. That's cool.
yeah.
No, I'm going to be 38 at the end of this year, and I didn't start picking up books till like maybe 5 years ago.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just taken me time to realize like I actually enjoy it now. But there's a particular type of reads that I like. So like
Oh
biography,
yeah.
like almost
Mm.
personal development, something I gotta like have some
The
sort of
connection.
connection with.
Yeah.
Yeah, like fiction stories, like random, like just random stories I won't fuck with or it makes me like sleepy. I just fuck with it. I don't,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I don't
Like
have time
I'll
for it.
listen to more podcasts,
Yeah, true.
honestly, because in the car it is easy,
Yeah, easy to
And
absorb.
I've been listening to I think the TFD, I forget TFD podcast or something, other than like Joe Rogan is like I think it's like the fighting or I forget what it's TFD on Spotify, and they're just these Australian guys. They're like super well known nutritionists for MMA fighters, and I've been uh, uh on them just because of like weight cuts and stuff and learning more about best way to cut weight and all
Yeah.
that and they're all fighters too so
Oh, yep, yep. Being that you're an instructor, I'm sure it's easy to, give back and help them with their journey as well. Cool. List three things that make you happy.
um our dogs Chico, Bia, and the cat Waffles, if that can count into one. I know they're three different things but they're like our family. Actually Faye's picking them up from Alabama, from her mom's house in Alabama right now because
Nice.
we've been out of town, so she's been watching them, so I can't wait. It feels like an empty nest
Yeah,
without them home.
you know how that is.
Another thing that makes me happy is food. Like
Kept it
every honestly
100.
every kind of food. Like literally, like I eat everything, and that's what I love about I think growing up, being Filipino is that I like there's no I'm not picky. I'm
Yeah,
not picky. I could literally eat anything, and
I'm
I
down for.
love it. Like the fact that they like I don't think I could be with someone who is picky
Yeah,
about food. I think it's so cool,
yeah.
like trying out new cultures, like and new. I feel like that's the biggest thing about traveling is being
Yes.
able to try new cultures, and it's like the food.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think it's part of the experience. So, and then third, I say the third thing that makes me happy, uh, naps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-care, that
Sleeping.
self-care,
Yeah,
getting that
exactly.
recovery time.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's respect. All right. One last thing that I'm asking everybody, and this is new to the rapid fire questions. It's what's one thing that you've recently learned about the weed industry?
About the weed industry, I've realized that well, actually, like I'm dealing like it's so much more difficult. Like the amount of stuff that they have to go through to be able to be like legal in certain states, because I'm just like, when is Georgia gonna be legalized?
Hello.
I know, I'm like, oh man, I wish it was just so easy for people to see like the benefits. It's like way better. I mean, like alcohol is a drug too, and it's so available. Like prescription pills, it's like everyone just like pushes like all this like pills and the Western medicine kind of
Mhm.
thought
There you go.
for people that could benefit a lot for doing things otherwise, like other forms of other modalities of the holistic way. I feel like there's a lot to benefit from that. So
Yep. Great answers. I appreciate you. That was all that we have for today, guys. Alex, thank you for sharing your story and all of your feedback. I think we learned a lot today about you and just the industry that you're in. And so I appreciate you being supportive of the plant medicine industry and, just being an advocate of how much it benefits you as an athlete. So thank you so much. Any last words to say or anything you want to peace out with?
no, thank you so much for having me, and the opportunity. I know we reached out a while ago, and I'm super glad to have been able to come and do this. And I'm excited. I want to listen to that bullfighter
Yeah.
podcast
Check out
episode.
episode 23.
Hell yeah, for
All
sure.
right, Alex. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Keep us in loop with your events and your competition. Good luck out there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.